Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're going to talk about Primarchs in Atlas. I know a lot of people were wanting to know about stuff. This will be my next step, kind of talk about Primarchs and which ones do what, which ones you want to have, and how to get the ones you want, and how to go about transferring troops from Primarch to Primarch now, and talk about the barracks a little bit. This week's event is troop building, so if you're not building troops and you're not farming gold, then you're not getting points in the event and you're missing out on free timers. Easiest way to go about that is just hit that mine and those poachers and then just make troops as often as you can. You don't have to, you can use bullhorns, they're right here. I have all of my troops building right now, but if you don't, you can click on where it says pending right now, you click on there. It'll tell you how many bullhorns you have when you try and make more. Bullhorns basically give you more what is called peasants or troops. The peasants basically make you be able to build more troops, and they give you more of those, and then you can just use gold. Each bullhorn gives approximately 4,000 peasants right now, which is that like sand-covered thing apparently. They call them peasants though. So let's start out with, you're going to go to click on View Tech Tree, and that means Primarch Tree. What you want to do is, so there's different kinds: Sieger, Destroyer, Balanced, Fighter, Taunter, and Rusher. Now, what you first want to do is, I talked about it before, but you want to get your Fighter up to level 5. Once you get your Fighter up to level 5, it opens up all the other Primarchs. What's going to happen is you're going to be able to start making any of the other ones. You summon them, it takes approximately 12 hours. And it takes a certain amount of gold to summon for the first level. You need gold for, unfortunately, everything in Atlas. For the lower level players, what I'm going to recommend, Destroyer is not going to be your best friend for the most part. Yes, they have equal defense and attack power. But unless you're just going around and you have a very high level one, they aren't nearly as useful as the other ones. We'll start out with any lower level player. If you want glory and you want good troop returns on attacks, Sieger is your man. They have extremely high attack power, but very low defense. Basically, you just don't want to let them be hit. If they are hit, you lose your troops and they lose minimal. But you're going to do the same to other people. So what I do is I travel around with like my Taunter, my Rusher, and my Sieger. I don't have all three, but I pick between the two. Now, your Taunter and your Rusher are like your defensive Primarchs. Rusher, I recommend for also lower level players, mid-range to lower level players, as they have really high defense. They move around great. It's a great Primarch to use to farm at different areas for gold, that kind of thing. Different places for poachers that you want. He can be hit, and even if you are hit and don't defend, the troop ratio at which they will lose is far greater, and you get greater glory returns as losing troops goes. If your Sieger is hit, no matter how much troops you lose, you will not get a lot of glory for it, as they didn't lose a lot of troops in that battle. Glory is a finicky thing in the fact that your attacker needs to lose troops, but you also have to lose troops. And when you're attacking people, you need to lose troops to gain glory, but you also need to kill. I don't know the specific ratios. There is stuff on the forums about specific ratios. I just know that you should never, ever attack with a Rusher. Ever. I will never attack anything with a Rusher. Your Sieger, I try and do all my attacking. That's why my Sieger is almost maxed. And the Rusher I use for defense. I put it everywhere. People, when they're trying to take islands, they just place a Rusher there because they know if it gets hit, they will get good troop returns, and the attacker will lose greatly, no matter what. Now, the other Primarch I really like are Taunters. They are reserved more to me for the higher level players. Now, they have the ability to make players hit them first. So if they're on an island and you have a Taunter there, they have to kill a certain amount of troops off of a Taunter before they can hit any other Primarch. Basically, your Taunter is, you want to put that on one of your higher level players. They basically only it's only going to work very well if there's a lot of troops on it and that the players that you're defending are defendable bases, meaning you keep the taunt going for as long as possible. Your rushers have the ability to trap. Basically, when you're in a battle and you trap, see, like you're going against and there's a high-level taunter, you can trap that and go ahead and kill all the siegers because it traps the taunt effect. Also, they added in the last update, if you trap any Primarch, they have to kill your rusher first before they can kill anything else on the island if there's only, say, one Primarch. So if you trap a sieger, it has to kill your rusher before it can go attack anything else. Now, lastly, the Destroyer, its ability, there's no special abilities. The Taunter and the Rusher have special abilities. The Sieger is not either. They're just plain attack. Destroyer is what it sounds like. You go destroy things, and if you happen to get hit, you get decent troop returns. It's really nothing special. It's kind of like the fourth redheaded stepchild of the bunch. He's decent, but not that many people use him because he's not very... his utilities are very low. Now, besides that, like I said, low levels players, you need to focus on your Sieger and your Rusher. Taunters should be reserved for people that want their bases to be hit. You know, they're the person on the team that's getting hit. But lastly, just remember you need to get your fighter to level 5 to get there, and gold is used for absolutely everything. And you need glory on these. Easiest ways to get glory is if you have a defensive Primarch, you go slap it in something like a no man's land, like this, that has enemies around it, of course. Like this guy sitting over here, I technically could go hit him. I won't. He probably has no troops on. But I can bring over an attack Primarch and go hit him, and he'll get glory for it. Neutral lands, you cannot hit other teams, meaning the gray area, you cannot hit other teams, therefore you're not going to get glory. Defensive Primarchs, the best way sometimes to get glory is to accidentally wander into somewhere and it kills off. I know in the early stages of Atlas, it's very hard for people to get glory. Going into areas and trying to fight is a good way to do that. Lastly, I know people have been asking how to get glory. That's the way I said is probably the best way, but it is difficult, and you need to work with your team and try and come up with ways that your team has a plan to attack maybe a certain castle, attack a certain land, or even trade glory with somebody that you know. You go into a no man's land and trade glory there, equal hits, and you both get glory for your Primarchs. If you haven't been using the Bazaar, it's these card-looking things with the dragon on them. They reset daily, and you can pull them for free. They give bullhorns, gold, crafting scrolls, and haste, which are pretty much useless, and crafting shards. Well, I think that about concludes it for today's video. If you have any questions about this specific kind of stuff, just leave a comment. I will be sure to help you guys. Oh, and last thing I forgot, transferring troops. Now, they made it a lot more difficult. When you click on troops, one finishes, say it'll go to your barracks if you do not have a Primarch clicked on that island. Like, see, right now I have my Rusher selected. If I was to collect troops, it would go straight to my Rusher, and you can no longer keep troops at a castle. Once you transfer them to a Primarch, they're stuck there forever. But luckily, they did change it around a little bit, and you can transfer troops between Primarchs, and you can summon a new one. Now, what you can do to transfer troops is, see, I have my Rusher selected. If I want to transfer to my Sieger, I do not click the Sieger icon. I click the actual Sieger itself. So I'll click down there, and I can transfer just like that. See? Otherwise, you're just gonna keep selecting back and forth, and you don't want to do that. So, also to transfer Primarchs, to transfer troops, you use this little button. It has a drag into troop, like a little helmet thing. That transfers to your Primarchs, since you can no longer transfer back to your castle. Besides that, guys, I think that's all I wanted to talk about at the current moment. If you do want to summon a new Primarch, though, it's pretty easy now. Since you have troops on there, you can just summon a new one in the place of the old one. So right there, I would just click my new one, and I have my Rusher selected, so it's going to unsummon my Rusher. And I'll transfer the troops effectively without you losing any. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Let me know in game, whatever you guys need. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if it's already Saturday for you, I hope your weekend's going well. Have a good one.